Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and you can find more information about the projects that I create here, of course, on my Facebook page, but also on my blog at stampingwithheart.blogspot.com. Let me see if I can pop that up there. Oh, that's my email. What a way to start. So stampingwithheart.blogspot.com, and I spell heart, by the way, I spell my last name, which is Hart, just for anybody who is interested. So welcome. It is Valentine's Day 2023, and I just want to wish all of you out there a very happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy. I know this isn't necessarily a holiday for everybody, but if you do like Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, whatever you call it, enjoy. I hope that you have a great day. It's kind of weird having Valentine's Day on a Tuesday, isn't it? But anyway, I wanted to come on here and just sort of chat with you guys for a minute before we go ahead and get started with our card project. But I will be showing you the cards that we'll be making. So we're going to do some die cutting today. The theme with today's card is repeat patterns with die cutting. So I'll show you what I mean by that, but we're going to be using the Ready to Ride suite. So let me just show you the cards really quickly. I cut what I could ahead of time. I didn't cut everything. So we will be die cutting some stuff together. Hopefully you guys are okay with that if you want to hang out. And then, of course, in the replay, I will edit it. But there you go. And then as you guys are coming on live or watching the replay, be sure to say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you have any plans for Valentine's Day. Patrick and I, we don't really do anything crazy. We're pretty low key. Like the most exciting thing pretty much that we do is we get a Valentine pizza, like a pizza in the shape of a heart. So that is something that we do quite often. So anyway, you guys will have to let me know what you do for Valentine's Day. But yeah, so those are the cards that we're going to be making. But before we make these, I just wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about a celebration, everything that's happening, like the new updates and all of that lovely stuff. So we have 2 weeks left for celebration. I think technically we have 15 days. So I just wanted to shout that out, as you know, we're already halfway through February. So if you wanted to shop and, you know, earn some free rewards while you're shopping, then the next 2 weeks is the time to do it. I'm actually going to take you guys over to my blog. This isn't something that I do all the time, but I did want to do this today. Every once in a while, I'll just kind of take you to the page and show you where things are. And that's what I want to do today. So if you happen to be jumping on to the replay and you don't want to see this part, you can just skip ahead. But for those of you who maybe have never visited my blog, or if you would like to get a feel for what that looks like, I'm going to take you over there, and then we'll just talk about, you know, what's new, what's happening, and all of that. So I'm just going to share my screen. Let me see if I can get this going here. Here we go. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to talk about, so you can always refer to my blog if there are certain things that you're looking for, if you want to get the measurements or the, you know, instructions for a card, anything like that. Now, each month I do a host code. And if you're interested in shopping with that host code, you can get it right here on my blog. It stays there. And then I just change it out each month. And when you shop with my host code, if you spend 50 or more before tax, I will send you a free embellishment as a thank you from me for shopping with me in the month of February. And of course, when you spend 50 or more during celebration in the month of February, you also get celebration rewards from Stampin' Up. And they have actually added to what you can choose from for your celebration rewards. There's more choices now, particularly at the $50 level. So if you're interested in that, then let me know, but you can find out that information, which I'm going to show you guys in just a moment. Now, Paper Pumpkin announced their new kit. So the kit for March is going to be called 10 Years of Growth. If you want to learn more about that, I have a blog post right here where it will refer you to it. Okay. And there is a free gift in the March kit. There is a bonus stamp set that you can get in the March kit, and it looks fabulous. So great sneak peek this month. Look at that box. Paper Pumpkin is celebrating 10 years. So you would need to subscribe by March 10th to get the March kit. Now, the reason that I wanted to mention this is because if you're, want to know who is Paper Pumpkin for, what is Paper Pumpkin, I have all of that information here on this blog post. But I wanted to talk to you about how to earn rewards with Paper Pumpkin in these last 2 weeks of celebration. And that's because even though you can subscribe up until March 10th, if you know you like Paper Pumpkin, if you've never tried a prepaid code before, this might be a great time to do that. I would look into the option if you know you want to get 3 months worth of kits or 6 months worth of kits. If you purchase a prepaid code at 3, 6, or 12 months, then you will actually get celebration rewards when you purchase a prepaid code. And when you plug in that code and activate it, then you'll start getting your kits. And that can include the March kit as long as you activate your code by March 10th. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. So I have all of that information on my blog as well if you want to look into this. But this is a great way to get those celebration rewards before the end of February. So we have the 3-month prepaid, we have the 6-month prepaid, and the 12-month prepaid. And anytime you click links on my blog, it will include that February host code. So, each month you just want to make sure that it's updated, or you could always reach out to me if you're worried about that. But I update everything each month. So all of this has the February host code in it. And of course, when you shop during celebration, that's when you get those free rewards. So if you have any questions at all about that, you can let me know. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was a little bit more specifically about celebration. If you go through stampinup.com, Stampin' Up's website, they have this rotating. You can always check out and see what's new. They always have updates right here. And I'm going to click on More to Celebrate. So this will tell you everything that you need to know about celebration when you come and you shop here. And it tells you, it breaks down all of the different ways that you can save when you shop during celebration. But the other thing is when you join. So let me just click on the join option here. So when you join Stampin' Up during celebration, you can actually choose $175 worth of product. And then you would either only pay $129 if you choose the mini machine option, which you can see our boho blue mini machine right here. Your choice of machine would be blue, the boho blue, or white, and it's $129 either way. But you're getting $109 in product value savings when you choose options 1 or 2. If you don't need the mini machine and you just want to get the starter kit at $175 worth of products that you choose, you only pay $99. You get free shipping on the starter kit, and you get, I think it's a $76 savings with the $99 options. So as we're coming up on 2 weeks, I just really wanted to mention that. If you have any questions at all about it, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask me. I just want you to know your options. When you become a demonstrator, you can save 20%. You would get access, and including actually with your starter kit, they're doing something new called online exclusives, and it's in pre-order for demonstrators right now. So people who join in the next 2 weeks, you could actually put those exclusive those online exclusive pre-order items that are available to demonstrators, you could actually put them in the starter kit. So even though they're not available to customers yet, you would start getting those perks right now as part of your starter kit if you would want to put those brand new products in there. So it's up to you, but you would get first access to catalogs, first access to ordering new products. There's a great crafting community. There's a lot of things that happen once you become a demonstrator. You do not have to have a Stampin' Up! Business, but if that is something that you are interested in, there are a lot of resources and I can answer any questions that you have. So just wanted to mention that. And we're going to go ahead and make these cards. So let me stop the share. All right, and then here are the cards. So you could do this in any pattern that you want or with any suite or bundle, just depending on the person that this is for. I am just absolutely loving the Ready to Ride suite that we have in the mini catalog January to April 2023. This one's a lot of fun. There's a lot of character to this. There's a lot of detail to this. And so I thought we would do something with that today. You'll probably see me working with this a couple of times. So we're just going to be doing, and I will get all of the information about the card measurements and all of that lovely stuff. That'll be up on my blog tomorrow. But in the meantime, let me just walk you through a couple of things, and then we'll get started on this. So this is a look at the stamp set here. Let me know. And I know Kathy has it. I know she has Legendary Ride. So it's either the Legendary Ride bundle or the Ready to Ride suite, just depending on what you're using. But so much fun. 2 different size motorcycle stamps here. We're going to be doing the larger. We're going to be using You Are Legendary. We have this really cool sort of flame stamp here. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. I wanted to use this one today, so we're going to be using that. And then with our dies, I cut them out just because I thought it would be sort of easier to see it this way. But you can see, you could essentially build a motorcycle with dies. And on this card here, let me see if I can show you. I did that partially. So I did add some specialty elements here. I did add some of that. We have this silver specialty foil. I used the darker silver piece for this, and then just over the stamped bike. So I didn't go like completely crazy with this, but yeah. So I'm using 2 different designer series papers. We'll get into that in just a minute. And then we're going to be using our wheels, and we're going to be using our hubcaps today. We're going to be using this large piece, this piece. So we'll get into that. The other thing that comes as part of the suite is this metal plate 3D embossing folder. And on this card here, oh, Roberta has this suite too. Oh, that's cool. Hi, Joan. How are you doing? She says she has her Harley. Kathy says, I have my Harley orange hoodie on today. That's awesome. You guys still have a lot of snow there, Kathy. How are you guys doing out there? I know the last time we talked, you said there were 8 inches. And how are you doing, Joan? And what's going on with you, Roberta, today? Everybody having a good day? Okay, so I did use that dark silver again here with our hubcaps. And then you can see that pattern from the 3D embossing folder here, the metal plate 3D embossing folder. Here we have that sentiment that I really wanted to use that. And so we're going to make these. And if there's anything that I forgot, I'm sure I will mention it throughout. So let's start with our motorcycle card. And I'm going to set this off to the side. And let me get my, here it is. Okay, just bear with me. Here we go. I have to get this, the great thing about these, what do we call these mats? The self-healing mats, is that they last forever. But the problem with the mats lasting forever is they just get so beat up and they just start to look gross. And I think I might need to get a new one. It's just really, I don't know. The way it's been looking is like, well, okay. So we'll start with this card here. And then I do have some pieces pre-cut, but I might need to cut some as we go. So we'll see how we do. So we're going to use a pumpkin pie card base today. This is our 5.5 by 8.5 inch cut with the 4 1/4 inch score line. And then we're just going to take our bone folder here and get that edge. All right. And then as we sort of build out this card, I actually borrowed some designer series paper from the Enjoy the Journey suite. So you can see, just for those of you who do have this paper, and the Enjoy the Journey designer series paper has actually become a celebration item. So if you spend 50 before tax, you could actually get this designer series paper for free if you spend 50 or more before tax. So that's cool. But I love this sort of orange sunset mountain look. And I cut this the size of the card base front. So this is 4¼ by 5½. And then I'm just going to set that there. Now, this is from the Ready to Ride Designer Series paper. I have to say, I think this might be my favorite pattern because I just keep going for it. I just keep using it. So this is a specialty designer series paper where we sort of have this black foil look here. And these are tire tracks. This has been cut to 1 1/8 inch by 5½ inches. And it's going to end up going on this side. And speaking of Enjoy the Journey, we're going to be using a little bit of the pumpkin pie twine as sort of an embellishment. Well, not sort of, it will be an embellishment on this card. Now, I did kind of go ahead and I pre-cut and stamped some of these things that we're going to be doing in repeat patterns, but we are still going to do this together as well. Now, for this card, I'm going to be using Very Vanilla as my base instead of basic white, but you could very easily use basic white as well. So I don't know if I have any scraps small enough. I think I'm going to cut a new piece here. Let me just grab my paper trimmer. And basically, I just need a piece big enough to stamp a couple of flames and then our bike. Okay, I am going to switch over into voiceover mode now. For those of you who like to see the entire video in regular speed, I am slightly speeding up this section in the replay, but you can get the full-length replay at regular speed on my Facebook page at Stamping with Hart, H-A-R-T, on Facebook. I do edited replays here on YouTube to kind of speed things up a little bit, particularly if I am doing repeat steps or patterns like we are going to be doing with these cards. Right here, we are looking at the Stamparatus, which is a stamp positioning tool. When we have a larger stamp, or when we want to get a really saturated full color image, it is a safe bet to use a stamp positioning tool like the Stamparatus or whatever you may have in your craft room. Now, I apologize for a little bit of shakiness with the camera. I started to figure it out as I was going along. And I'm just taking a clear block that I use to stamp, and I'm just adding some even pressure with it when I close the plate and then run it over my stamp. And the reason that I'm doing that is because with these larger stamped images, sometimes it just takes a moment to transfer the image and the ink to the paper, and it helps to distribute even pressure so that you get a really nice, crisp, clean image. I happen to really love the way that the Memento Tuxedo Black looks against the Very Vanilla cardstock. And this is the coordinating die that is going to cut out this motorcycle. So just depending on your level of detail or where you like to stop with your stamping, there is enough detail in this stamped image of this bike that you could just die cut this part and be done with it. So for those of you who are watching and you're thinking, as we get into building out the motorcycle with the dies, the coordinating dies, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, but this is a mix and match style die set where you can add in these really cool details and features and overlay it over the stamp if you want to. So I did not use every single die, but I did use some of those highly detailed pieces because I really wanted to show or demonstrate for all of you how fabulous this set is. And I couldn't find my darker silver foil, so I ended up using the lighter sheet.
You can use whatever specialty paper you have at home, whatever colors. I actually just recently did a video where I was doing a lot of gold with the bike, which I know that that's not like the traditional thing. A lot of times we're working with silver or chrome, you know, or what have you. So it's totally up to you. So we're going to be doing a lot of die cutting in this video. And that is because the die cuts are so detailed that I just thought from a design standpoint, we should really let that shine. But again, you can do repeat stamping or repeat die cut patterns with any suite or bundle that you may have. And in the end, I'm going to show, or at the end of the video, I'm going to show you a completely different suite called Fancy Flora. I'm going to show you a card that I made with a Fancy Flora suite, which is very floral and very fancy, with this pattern style card. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I actually have a free project sheet for these cards, and I will have photos and instructions and measurements in the project sheet for you. And you can access the link to download the project sheet in the description box below, or you can refer to the blog post for these cards and you can get the link there as well. If you are already on my email list, these project sheets are emailed to you for free, and all you have to do is download them. You don't have to sign up for it again. So that is a perk that I give to everybody on my email list. And yesterday I was having a technical issue with my email list, and I couldn't send out my preview email for my live like I typically do. So I apologize for that, but I will be sure that it is in the replay. So here I am building out the dies. And what I recommend you do is add the hubcap first, add the tires second, and then add this overlay detail piece, because you'll see those two little spots that I pointed at, they actually line up with the center of those hubcaps. So you can layer it however you want, but I would recommend putting this detail piece on last. Do the wheels first. And then the other thing is we're going to put that little seat on as well. And if you want the seat to be black, which I think would probably be more accurate for the bike, then just leave that piece off. I think it looks cool both ways, but I did end up adding the silver seat. That's that last die cut piece that you see just above my hand there. And you see me just sort of fitting that on. So you can play around with the positioning of all of these things. I would say do a dry run, you know, when you're first cutting out all of these dies and you're going to put together your die cut bike. And then once you're really getting a feel for the way that it's all going to layer and lay down, you know, on each other, then you can go ahead and start gluing your pieces down. Now, I am going to stamp the flame image in pumpkin pie ink. This is on the very vanilla cardstock, but I had gone ahead and actually stamped and die cut several of them in advance. So I am taking Daffodil Delight Dark with my Stampin' Blend. That's an alcohol marker. And I'm just adding touches of yellow to the stamped image, where there is a little bit of a highlight built in by the designers who created the stamp set. And that's because with the designer series paper piece that we are using for our card front, which is from Enjoy the Journey, it's this yellow orange skyline mountain scene. And I wanted it to match my flames because I wanted it to all sort of look like it was blending in together. Now you're going to need 6 flames, and this is where the repeat die cutting comes in with this particular card. So we're going to keep the row nice and tight all the way across. And the thought process behind this is when I was a little girl, my Uncle Billy had a motorcycle, and I was little. I don't know if I ever went for a ride on the bike. I don't remember going for a ride on the bike, but I do remember where it would be parked out front, and he would let us, you know, play and climb on it, and he would turn it on and rev the engine, and there would be a lot of vibration and heat. And so I just thought about the heat that was coming off, and that's how I came up with the idea for the flames behind the bike. Now we're going to go back to our Stamparatus for a moment here. I'm picking up my stamp with the plate. You get 2 plates with your Stamparatus. I'm inking it with our Memento Tuxedo black ink again. I'm going to do 2 inks each stamp. And then we're just going to work our way down. You can see there are notches, and I'm going to go every single notch down. And you'll see that there is good spacing in between each line. And we're going to go back in again and get a nice tight pattern. But if you want more space between your stamps, you can certainly do that. So you'll get a chance to see the way that it looks both ways here. But I wanted a nice saturated black for the "You Are Legendary" stamp. I just think that's one of the coolest things that you could say to somebody and sending them a card. You know what I mean? So here we are, we're stamping on the designer series paper piece. Again, this piece is cut to 4¼ by 5½, so it is going to cover the entire front of the card base. Clean off your stamp, and that is because you need to reposition it, and you don't want the residue or the leftover ink to mark up your designer series paper. You want that to stay clean so that you can get your positioning in place and then go ahead and stamp the second round. And once you get that positioning in place, it should hit in the right spot each time going down the line, because the space and the distance should be the same as long as you're going every single notch down the Stamparatus here like I am here. I wanted a repeat pattern of stamping as well, and I wanted it to be really tight within the lines. So I chose to do it closer, but you could do that either way. You could have a lot of fun with your Stamparatus and do this with a lot of different types of stamps. I do a lot of sentiment backgrounds using the Stamparatus as well. So we're just going to glue our panel down here. I just like to take a minute to line it up before I start really pressing it down. And even though that ink dries quickly, I just wanted to be mindful that I didn't just rub my finger all over the ink because I didn't want to smear anything. Now here, I am using pumpkin pie twine, and this is from a twine trio combo pack in our mini catalog, January to April 2023. It's part of the Enjoy the Journey suite, and again, we're using that Enjoy the Journey paper, so I did incorporate a couple of elements from that suite. Just a heads up that those 2 suites actually blend really well together because we have a lot of like nature scenes and things like that, a lot of adventure style sentiments, and I think that that is completely true for our motorcyclists as well. So here we're combining the Ready to Ride Designer Series paper with the Enjoy the Journey paper. We're starting to get a feel for our card layout. We've added those 2 pieces of twine. I just ran the twine between the pattern of the tire tracks. And now what I'm doing is I wanted to see, I wanted my bike to be at the bottom of the card. So I found my positioning and then removed the bike so that I could put down all of these pieces. Now, it takes a minute for multi-purpose glue to set. It's a nice strong glue, but I put a clear block over these pieces as I was sort of gluing and laying them down because they can have a tendency to kind of pop back up off of the paper if you don't hold them in place. And it takes a long time to do that sometimes. So this is just kind of like a quicker way to get everything to, adhere and then glue and bond to the card. So we're going to give that a minute to dry. And in the meantime, we are going to add dimensionals to our bike. Regular Stampin' Dimensionals are fine to use for this bike. Even the adhesive foam sheets is totally fine. I ran out of my regular Stampin' Dimensionals, so I am using the mini dimensionals. But I just wanted to be really clear as to why I was using the mini dimensionals. I just happened to run out at home. I can't believe I did that, but I do go through quite a lot of them. And so that is our first card. If you would want to stamp and glue in your insert, for the inside, you could do that as well. And I will have that in my instruction sheet. And this is the second card that we are going to be making is this tire card. I just really love the detail of the hubcaps and the tires, and I wanted to make a card with it. So that is what we're going to be doing here. I'm going to be having a basic black card base, same size for the card base as for our first card. We're going to cut a square 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 that we're going to put our little tire pattern onto. We're actually going to use that darker silver specialty foil to emboss with that metal plate 3D embossing folder. Now, for the size of the piece that I'm doing, which is 4 by 5 1/4, I do need the full size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for this because the embossing folder would be too big to go through our mini. So here I am just showing you guys this the specialty foil before I run it through. With a 3D embossing folder, you're going to need plates 1 and 4. We have different types of embossing folders, and 3D is the one that requires the 1 and 4 plate. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. And then we're also going to die cut all of our hubcaps and tires. So just for the sake of time, I am going to tell you to cut at least 9. I would recommend 9 or 10, just to have on hand as you're cutting. And I am going to skip ahead to all of the pre-cut pieces, and then we will assemble our card. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to use my Stampin' Sale Plus to adhere this because this is specialty foil. It's a little bit thicker. And I am going to wrap my pumpkin pie twine 4 times around this bottom, like, third of the layer here. And it's totally up to you, how many times you want to wrap it or whatever, but I like to do repeat wherever I can, repeat patterns. So you're just going to get the, line up wherever you want them in place, and then set your piece down. I am gluing it flat to the card. I like to run my seal over, the ribbon or the seal, the twine, just to kind of keep it in place, and then put it flat to the card. So with twine, you can really get away with that. But if it was a bulkier ribbon, then I would probably pop it up on dimensionals. Now here you want to get your layout, and we're going to do a 3-6-9 layout. I don't want you to feel like you need to have it 100% perfect, but if you are somebody who really truly likes to have things lined properly, I would recommend taking your scoring tool or your paper trimmer, and you can actually score the lines in and basically create a grid so that you can keep your sort of circles or your tires in line. Totally up to you. And if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would love to have you subscribe. If you have actually made it this far into the video, just know that you are one of the few. Not everybody sticks around for the whole video. So just know how much I appreciate you. And I would love to have you subscribe. I do crafting tutorials each week. I also do a heavy focus on paper pumpkin. I do an alternate video for paper pumpkin each month. And so if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to see, tips, techniques, anything like that, just shout it out in the comments. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. So what I ended up doing here was using my multi-purpose glue to adhere these down. And I'm going to tell you, this is one of those situations where I really, really wish I would have used my adhesive sheets. So let me just give you a little background on that. I was actually saying this on my live, and I'm going to ask you guys too, for those of you who are still here. Is there anything that you have in your craft room, like you actually have it in stock in your craft room, and you always intend to use it, but you never actually use it? That is me with the adhesive sheets. Adhesive sheets turn your die cuts into stickers. So essentially, it adds all of the glue while you are in the die cutting process. You just adhere the sheet to the cardstock before you cut it. And then once you cut it out, you pull the backing off and you've essentially created a sticker. Adhesive sheets are affordable. You get these big, gigantic strips. You can cut them down to whatever size you want. And it makes it so easy to, when you pull the backing, it pulls a lot of the little pieces out, and you don't have to pop them out or weed them or anything like that. And you can just pop it right onto your project. And for very heavily detailed dies like this one, like the hubcap, I cannot tell you what a benefit it would have been to have cut those with the adhesive sheets. It probably would have cut my time in half. I can't guarantee that, but for those of you who do like to see the full, the full length replay, like, this took me time in regular time. So this isn't the type of card that you would make all the time. This is a card that you would make for somebody special, somebody who would appreciate all of the details, somebody who would, hold on to this card, or who might, just be really touched that you took all of the time to make a card like this. So this is a specialty card, just like this is a specialty suite. This isn't necessarily something that you would use all the time. It's very specific. It's very niche. And you could do this 369 pattern with flowers, which I'm going to show you guys a card here just in a second as we finish building out this card. And I used the Authentic You sentiment from the Legendary Ride stamp set in Pumpkin Pie ink. And that die is actually from Something Fancy dies that we put our little sentiment on. So I just wanted to shout that out. So because I ran out of my dimensionals, I'm using the edge of my minis to create these larger dimensionals that I can put on the back of my card. So here is the alternate card. So this is the Fancy Florist Suite. For those of you who are more into florals and maybe you are into motorcycles, this is an example of a card, and I will have this in the project sheet too. This is an example of a card that you can make with a repeat pattern with an entirely different theme. So I just want you to know you could do this with everything. We're going to finish this card with the classic matte dots, or maybe they're called the matte black dots. I'll have it on my blog. But I love these things, and you could use either size with the hubcap. I use the small ones with the first card. I use the larger size with the second card. But with all of that said, I want to thank you so much for spending time here with me today. Let me know if you have the Ready to Ride suite in the comments. Let me know if there is a craft project that maybe you, or a craft product that you have but you aren't using, and maybe we could do a challenge with that in the next video. All right, thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.